Alright, so today we're going to talk about mathematical fairness, okay? So fairness is a little bit different in math than it is in the real world, okay? So when we think of fair, we think of me giving everyone candy except for one person. That's not fair, okay? Or 3-year-olds fighting over a toy because this one had it longer than this one and I had it first and all this stuff, okay? That's not how it works in math, okay? There's actually logic to it and math-based arithmetic we're going to use to figure out fairness. So this is all based off of expected value. So we need a definition of fairness, then we need a problem, and we're going to work through this together. Okay, so watch. First off, let's talk about what fairness is. So, definition of fairness. You see the top of the board? You cannot. I guess I'll take it down. Okay, okay. So you can see right there, okay. Fairness is, I'm going to put, a game is fair when all parties involved have an equal chance of winning. Okay, it's a weird G. A game is fair when all parties involved have an equal chance of winning. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. I'm going to let you write that down. Pause me. Okay, good. Now I'm going to erase this and give you the equation, or the formula, so to speak. Okay, so, and it's kind of, I'm going to put it in my terms, not special math terms. So, after, okay, you do, mosquito, in here, get out of here. Your PX times winnings, okay. So after that, okay, you're going to take the absolute value of your positives minus the absolute value of your negatives divided by 2. And it's actually, let me write this, numerators. Numerator. Okay, so, in case you can't see, you take the, after you do your PX times your winnings, you take the absolute value of your positive numerators minus the absolute value of your negative numerators, divide by 2, okay? Then, you take whatever that number is, and you subtract it from your negatives and you add it to your positives. But we'll do that as a class, so just get that for now, okay? And I'm going to put this as the fair formula. Okay? Write that down. Okay? So, let's do a problem, see if we can figure this out as a class. So, first off, let's do one that does not have to do with dice, because we've done dice for like 4 days now. Let's do coins. So the game is this. You flip 3 coins. Okay? If you get 3 heads, you get 10 points. If you flip 2 heads, you get 5 points. If you flip 1 head, you get 3 points. And if you flip no heads, you lose 2 points. Okay? So that's our game. Now, let's make a probability distribution and find the estimated value. Okay? Or expected value, sorry. Okay, so let's make this. So what are my options? Now, in the past when I ask you that, you always tell me the winnings. You say 0, 3, 5, and 10. That's not what I want. My options are, when I flip that coin 3 times, what are my options for how many heads I could get? So these are going to be my x's. You get as high as I can. So my x's are this. I could have no heads. I could have 1 head, 2 heads, or 3 heads, right? That'd be weird if I had 3 heads. Okay, so let's do our PX's. So what's the probability I get no heads? So to do that, let's think about what the probability of getting a head is when you flip a coin. So if you get an H, it's going to be 1/2, right? Because there's 2 sides of the coin and only one of them have a heads on it. Now what's the probability of getting a tails? Well, it's the other half, right? So if I flipped a coin 3 times and I got no heads, how many tails did I get? Well, I had to get 3 tails and that's my only other option. If I flipped a coin 3 times and I got 1 head, I got a head and then 2 tails, right? If I flipped a coin and got 2 heads, 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 tails, and if I got 3 heads, it would be heads, 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 right? Beautiful. So now I need to find my actual number probability. Well, if I have a heads, or a tails, then a tails, then a tails. So a tails, then a tails, then a tails. What does that then mean? I already wrote it. Multiply, okay? So let's probably get a tails, 1/2. Then a tails, 1/2. Then a tails, 1/2. If I multiply those out, I get 1/8 as my PX. Okay, what's probably I get a heads? Well, that's 1/2. Then I get a tails. Oh, that's 1/2. And I get another tails. Oh, that's 1/2. Okay. So once again, half times half times half, I get 1/8. You should see a trend. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. So what I get is 1/8 for all of them. Okay. I'm going to erase the numbers above that and just leave the 1/8 so that you don't get confused. Because I get confused. Okay. So there's my 1/8. That's all my PX's. Now I do my winnings. So my winnings, if I get no heads, what do? I lose 2 points. If I get 1 head, I win 3. 2 heads, I win 5. And 3 heads, I win 10. Now I do my math to find my expected value. Okay, so now I have -1/8, or 1/8 times -2 is -2/8. Okay, and I told you to leave them as improper fractions. 1 times 3 is 3/8, 5/8, and 10/8. Okay, now, if you remember our formula, well, first of all, let's see what our expected value is. So, -2 plus 3 is 1, plus 5 is 6, plus 10 is 16/8, which is 2. So what does that mean? Well, would we want to play this game? Yeah, we want to play this game, because we're going to win $2 and we didn't pay anything to play it. However, is it fair to the person who's giving us this game? So if we were at a carnival and one of the tents was to play this game, would the carny be making any money? No, he'd be losing $2 because he's paying us $2 every time we play, or on average. So, we want to make this game fair for everyone, including the carny and us. Okay? So we need to make this number equal what? 0. Good. This needs to be a 0. So to do that, we got to figure out where we can take away and put stuff and move numbers around. So if you remember, you take the absolute value of your positives, subtract the absolute value of your negatives. Now, what are my positives? Well, I've got 3, 5, and 10. Remember, it's the numerator. Okay, so it's the top number. So 3 plus 5 plus 10 is 18. Minus, what's my negatives? -2. Okay, so this really is a what? It's an absolute value. 2. So we've got 18 minus 2 equals 16. Okay. Now what do I do with that number? Come on, it's in your formula, don't forget. You divide it by 2. Okay? So I get 8. So this number right here is your magic number. You need to take this number, you need to take 8, you need to subtract from the negatives and subtract from the positives. Everything's subtraction. So, my negatives are these guys. So now I go to my winning column, right? So I can't affect the probability because probability is what it is. I can't affect my options because I'm still flipping the coin 3 times. but I can't affect my winnings. I can change the winnings to affect my expected value. So I want to subtract what my magic number 8 from my negatives. Okay, so I started out negative 2. So if I subtract 8 from that, so add negative 2 minus 8, I get negative 10. So now, what happens if you flip no heads? You lose 10 points. Okay, it's a big jump. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 8 from what? My positives. Now, can I subtract it from any of these? Yeah, you can. But you don't want to get to 0. You don't want it to equal 0 because that eliminates that whole column. So you want this to equal 1. So let's subtract 2. So that makes this a 1. Okay. Let's subtract 2 from this one. Okay. So that makes it a 3. So we've subtracted 4 altogether. So let's subtract our last 4 from the 10 and get 6. Okay. So now I've got negative 2, negative 4, negative 8. So together those equal minus 8. And I subtracted 8 from my negative 2. So now I should have made this fair. So I'm going to erase this bottom part and make sure that I'm right. Remember, what should my expected value be if it's fair? Good, 0. Alright. Negative 1 times negative 10, or 1 times negative 10 is negative 10 eighths. Okay. 1 times 1 is 1 eighth. 3 eighths. And 1 times 6 is 6 eighths. Okay, I'm going to erase these so I don't confuse you. Okay. So I've changed my game. Now my positives, let's just add up. Negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9, plus 3 is negative 6, plus 6 equals 0. This game is now fair. Hope that makes sense because we're going to be doing a lot of these and we'll be on your test tomorrow, or your quiz tomorrow. So, all right, good luck.